and welcome to my Keto Kitchen. I'm Victoria. Today I'm going to bring you a nut-free New Standard Keto Flour 2.0 option. The reason I began to work on this flour option was because many of you have told me, do you have a nut-free option? Now, there are some options to substitute for nuts. However, with my flour, I need to keep the absorption all the same, so that if I'm gonna call it a New Standard Keto Flour 2.0 and it's gonna fall in that category of whether you're using almonds or pecans or my nut-free version, you have to be able to use the same amount, the same grams per cup, and it needs to work with all of the recipes that say New Standard Keto Flour 2.0. So I can't just grab anything out there. I have to be very specific with the fat content, the protein content, the absorbency power, the texture that it's going to give. It has to go together. And it has to taste good. So many things go in the trash, unfortunately, because not everything tastes good. Just because it's edible does not mean it's going to taste good. So I began to work with this recipe, began to pray about it, because there's a lot of issues that goes into the flour. Like I said, structure, texture, taste, sometimes price. I know this flour can be expensive because we're adding egg white protein powder. That's ridiculously expensive. I don't know why, but it is. So I want to watch also for price. However, I mean, you have to use egg white protein powder. If you use whey, it's going to be weak. Things will deflate, things will fall, things will be mushy. I don't like whey. I don't use whey. It is cheaper than egg, but it just doesn't work. I don't use it. I don't promote it. So between different issues that I have to look at every little thing. And I also have to take into consideration everything that you guys tell me in the comments section. So I was in the grocery store, I think I was in Crest with my husband, and I like to go down the cake aisle, like with the flour and the sugar. A lot of times that aisle has a lot of keto stuff and new keto things, so I was looking at it. My father-in-law loved flaxseed. He loved flaxseed. And I saw a bag of flaxseed, and I remember him telling me his wife tells him to put it on his cereal and to put it in a lot of the foods that he eats because it was really good for his health. So when I looked at it, it just reminded me of him, and I bought a bag because I don't use it. I hadn't used it, so I bought a bag. And then I put it in the pantry. I hadn't touched it at all. I didn't even open the box. And as I was praying about different recipes, what I can use as a nut-free flour, I saw that and I got to thinking about it. So I pulled the bag out and I looked at the back of the bag. I wanted to see how much fat was in it compared to almond flour. So flaxseed does have a good bit of fat. So you need fat, because if you don't have the fat in your substituted item in my keto flour, then you're going to come out with an extremely dry, over-absorbent product. And it's not going to be the same as using almond flour and pecan flour. So I actually bought Bob's Red Mill golden flaxseed meal. Golden, okay? Golden, I like golden. I like the golden. If you get organic and it's not golden, it's very dark brown. But this is rich golden. It's beautiful. And I started to experiment with it. I have made this bread. I cut it for you. I showed you what it looks like. Same keto recipe. It's the same recipe as my keto bread loaf. Also, I made delicious cookies with this flaxseed. This is my favorite recipe for this cookie. So this actual recipe, I have the chocolate chip recipe on my channel, but this is that recipe with these cookies. So good. I showed you on camera, I broke it for you. I wish I could give you one. I would pass it through the camera. You would thoroughly enjoy it, especially with my keto milk. So if you're needing a nut-free option, I'm gonna walk you through it, gonna show you how to do it, and I'll tell you how to substitute it for the almond flour version or the pecan version. It's actually exactly the same. Gram for gram, cup for cup. So let's get started. We need our scale that weighs in grams. We need our bowl. Get the scale to 0, make sure it's weighing in grams. And we are going to start with golden flaxseed. Of the golden flaxseed, we need 1.5 cups, and that's going to be 156 grams. So the flaxseed is going to be responsible for the fat content of this flour. It's what's going to help the absorbency stay the same as with pecan and the almond flour version. The next ingredient is the bamboo fiber. You need 3 cups, which is 192 grams. Remember to refresh your scale. The next ingredient that we need is egg white protein powder. I like bulk supplements because there's only 2 grams for half of a cup of this egg white protein powder. This is my favorite. It works wonderfully. A link to every one of these ingredients is in the description box below. But of the egg white protein powder, we need half of a cup, which is 60 grams. And last but definitely not least is our xanthan gum. Of the xanthan gum, we need 1 tablespoon, and 1 tablespoon is 10 grams. That is it. 4 ingredients, that is it. Now, I'm going to mix this up. Of course, I use my hand whisk. And of course, I put the lid on my bowl and I shake it. Okay, now I'm going to transfer this into my sealed container. Okay, that's it. Now, with this flour, it's cup for cup with my new standard keto flour 2.0. Whether you use the almond or the pecan or the flaxseed, follows the recipes exactly the same. Also, some macros for this flour. It is 84 grams per cup, just like the almond and the pecan. And also, it's only 3 net carbs per cup. So it's just the same as the almond flour. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you make this flour, especially if you haven't been able to make my other ones with the almond and the pecan. Try the flaxseed. Flaxseed is incredibly healthy, really good for you, and it has a really good taste to it. I'm really enjoying the chocolate chip cookies and the bread. They're really good. You'll have to make it. Tell me what you think about it. Almost forgot. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I would love to have you stick around. So enjoy this recipe, and I hope you have a blessed day.